Today I'm going to show you how to build a 12-volt lithium-ion battery. Now this battery is NMC chemistry, so it's not lithium iron phosphate, this is lithium-ion. And you will need some cells to begin with. These are 21700 cells. They're a bit bigger than the most popular 18650. So you'll need at least 3 cells because these are about 3.6 to 3.7 volts nominal. And joining them all, you get about a 10.8 to 11.1 volt nominal. At full charge, this will be 12.6 volts. So you need 3 minimum to build a 12-volt battery. I am joining 5 of these in parallel, so all the positives together, all the negatives together, and then the first cell's positive to the second cell's negative, the second cell's positive to the third cell's negative. All right, and then you will need some spacers. Strictly not necessary, but I highly recommend it because it gives some space in between the cells because they will get hot under load. And you can get this anywhere. All the stuff I'm showing you here, I'll leave a link in the video description. So here I've actually just 3D printed my own in some funky red filament. You'll also need a spot welder. This is a very light duty one because I won't need to do many spot welds. You'll need some nickel strip. You'll need some cable. I'm just using 15-amp cable. You'll need some light duty hookup wire. You'll need a BMS. I think this is like a 30 or 40 amp BMS. So we'll use the thicker cable for the most negative and the most positive point, and the other 2 points in between we'll use the thinner wire. And we are going to use an XT60 female connector for actual output on the BMS P plus and P negative side. And not necessary, but I'm adding some balance wires because I want to check the individual voltages of each string. And again, not necessary, but I'm adding an active balancer. This is a Heltec 3S balancer. Actually, all these cells came from a salvage DeWalt FlexVolt pack, so I really don't need the balancer, but I want to put it on there because I want to test it. Now, the FlexVolt pack that I salvaged these from, it may have had a BMS issue or something happened, but all the cells, I've actually tested each one of these cells individually, and they're getting pretty much close to 3 amp hours per cell. And the internal resistance is about 90 to 100. So I'm not sure how accurate my internal resistance is, but you know, this is going to be quite a light duty pack. But I'm actually going to push this to the test in the next video because apparently these Samsung INR 21700-30T can provide quite a bit of current. So we'll do a test of that once I build this in another video. All right, so I think the first thing we're going to do is, obviously I already put them in the spacers, and I've actually added an insulation ring. I highly recommend you do this because the only positive point in this whole battery is the tip, the top end, and the rest is negative. So you want to eliminate chances of shorting. So what I'm going to do first is parallel up each group with some nickel strip, and I'll spot weld them, and then I will loop you back in. Okay, these spot welds are done just for the parallel groups. And you notice that I'm using a different spot welder now. I found that the other one wasn't working as well through the nickel and actually welding it on, so I brought out my bigger welder. And I'm not the best at this, as you can see. I've tried a few times. Sometimes I don't make good contact because these were salvaged and it wasn't firmly pressed to the cell, so it blows a hole in it. And I forgot to mention that make sure all your cells are around the same voltage, because if you parallel them up and one's lower, the more charged battery is going to feed current into the lower battery very quickly, and yeah, that's not good. So make sure they're all around the same voltage. So now we have 3 parallel groups, and now the next part is to make the series connections. So here I will be joining positive to negative. Now you can join each single one like this, or you can do just one, depending on what current you're drawing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make strips for each cell here, because I'm going to be actually pushing this pack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then flip on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 10 little strips like this. So I'll do that, spot weld it, and I'll loop you back in. Okay, the spot welds and the joins for the series connections are done. Now we can use a multimeter to test each point. So we can do the first point. So I'll flip it over like this, negative to positive on the first cell. We have 4.15. Then I move it to the other positive side, which is on the same size as this negative. 8.32, and the final point 12.49. And I can actually do each individual cell too. So start with the first one, 4.15. And if I go here, we get 4.16, and here 4.17. So they're reasonably balanced, which is good. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add the BMS in. And to make it easier for each point, we're going to add another little bit of nickel strip off to the side here. So we'll be able to solder on our wires without them becoming big lumps on top over there. So I'm going to make little points here with spot welds, and then I'll loop you back in. Okay, so as you can see, I've added little bits on the top. So there's negative there, positive there, and the middle balance point there, and then the last most positive point. Okay, so this is your main negative, that's your main positive, and they're the two balance points in between. So we just have to solder wires onto the appropriate spots on this board, and that should be it. But firstly, we need to put some Kapton tape. So another thing I've forgotten. So this is heat resistant and insulating tape on top. So we'll put it over there and put some on the bottom. And then I'm going to put some insulating green paper around here, because I will be sticking the BMS with double-sided foam tape or double-sided tape there. So I'll do that and I'll loop you back in. Okay, there we go. Look, how professional does this look already? So I've got the barley paper on the outside, and I've got the Kapton tape on the other side. So there's no risk of shorting now. And now I'll just have to appropriately place the BMS somewhere here. So I've just stuck this on with double-sided tape, some alien tape. And one thing I do want to tell you as a good tip and trick is to actually get this soldered on to the P negative, P positive before anything else is hooked up. Otherwise, these become live and it's so easy to short with the soldering iron. So solder on your output stuff first before you do anything else. And then I remember we also need to think about putting the balance cables in as well, because they need to be at the same time, but I think we can just add them on here as well. Okay, there's the XT60 connection going on. Quite happy with that. There's the connector, and I've taken off the pads on each of the spots here. They look like that. Just heat them up with the soldering iron, and then use a tweezer to pry them off. So I'll get the other points put in and I'll loop you back in. Okay, we have life. There's my voltmeter, and here is everything connected. So the main positive, main negative, and the small balance wires in between. And completely optional, but I've put some terminal block here, and that just came in like this. And I think this is rated for about 20 amps, so it's pretty overkill. I've just cut off a little bit. 4 of them, so I'm going to put more balance wires into here, so then I just have to screw in my leads here, so it makes it more flexible in the future. it does put a little bump in it, but I think it's going to make things a little bit more cleaner. So I'll put balance wires in here and I'll screw them in and I'll loop you back in. Okay, the terminal block's in. If I go on top here, I should be able to get the readings. 4.15, 8.31, 12.49. So that works. So all I have to do now is put the balance wires over here. Okay, both of them in there. So I'll do that and I'll loop you back in. Alright, the balance wires in. So one is checking my cell meter 8 tester thing, and the Heltec balancer is in, but there's no indicator light. I mean, it's already probably balanced, was not doing anything. So let's check this. Type is lithium ion. Cell 1 4.188, cell 2 4.145, cell 3 is 4.168. Okay, the last step is optional, but it makes it look really professional, is to put some PVC shrink wrap over it. Or if you wanted, you could just put this in your own box or case, but I'm going to wrap it up in this heat shrink, put a heat gun over it, and it'll look really professional. I'll loop you back in after that. And there we have it. There is your 12-volt lithium-ion battery. There's XT60. There's a balance cable for the active balancer, and there's another one so I can do balance charging or use the cell meter to check individual voltages. So I can actually use the active balancer and the cell meter at the same time so I can see it distributing power between the cells. Now, it wasn't the best heat shrink job because my heat shrink was a bit bigger than the pack, but wasn't too bad. There we go. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.